Hello everyone, my name is Archimedes Fuentes, and today I'm going to do my best to show you how to make a delicious peach strudel. The first thing we're going to do is the dough. We will need 300 grams of flour, 5 grams of salt, 1 egg, and 60 grams of butter. If you want, do it like me on a flat surface, very slowly mixing up the ingredients so you don't make a mess, but you can use a bowl to help you, and then continue working the dough on a flat surface like I'm doing. While making the dough, you really need to make sure you are working hard on it. This is so you can activate the gluten to get a lot of elasticity from it, which we're going to need if you want to succeed on this preparation. Now that most of our ingredients are mixed in, we're going to add the butter. Do it bit by bit, mixing thoroughly before adding any more butter. You're probably wondering right now, is this really how it should look like? Yes, absolutely. Now our dough is ready to get beat up. Use all of your might and smash the dough. As I said, work it hard and activate the gluten until it is very smooth and kind of shiny on the surface. That means the dough is ready for a half an hour rest. You're gonna have to work it for about 15 minutes depending on how hard you're gonna smash it. At first you're gonna think it's like really hard because you're gonna smash it to the ground, to the surface you're working on, and it might stick. As you see in the video, I didn't use any extra flour nor oil or anything because I know it will stick, so I'm using a pastry racket to help myself so I can pick it up and then launch it into the surface again. This is going to help me so that the dough is very smooth, and once it gets a little bit smoother, you'll notice that it's really easy to pick it up. You actually, it comes a moment in the preparation that you won't even need the pastry racket anymore because you can just pick it up with your hands, and it really won't stick to your hands nor to the surface you are working on. That is the moment when you know the dough is ready. So at this point, I've been working on the dough as I showed you before for about 10 minutes, but even though it really is pretty much done, I want to make sure. So I'm going to work on it a little bit more. This is a different technique. You can use this or you can use the technique that I'm going to show you, but the main principle is that you need to use force on it. Use the force of your hands, and the warmth that you have on your hands is also going to help you develop that gluten. So just keep working on it, guys, at least 15 minutes. As you see, I'm touching the dough just to see if it's already done. Yeah, pretty much it's done. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna save this dough for now because it needs to rest for about 30 minutes. So I'm gonna put it inside a bowl with some oil and a bag. You can use a plastic bag, make sure it's clean, or you can use something that will cover your dough, okay? Because we don't want the dough to get dry. That's why I'm using right now oil. I'm gonna put some oil on the bowl, some oil on the dough, and a bit more of oil on the plastic bag. Guys, you really use a lot of oil. You can use as much oil as you want, to be honest, because we want the dough to be really moisture. We don't want it to dry. Then we're going to put it aside. You can leave it at lukewarm depending on the temperature of your house or where you live in. In my case, my house is pretty much very hot, to be honest. I mean, I live in Venezuela, so temperature is not a problem here, but even so, I turned off the oven and put our dough near the oven. Don't put it inside, alright? We don't want to cook it or anything. We just want it to be warm, about 40 degrees Celsius, something like that. Half an hour, but if you wanna make a peach strudel, you're gonna need peach, that's for sure. Okay, so get your peach. You can leave the skin on it like I did, or you can remove it. The only difference is that peach skin is gonna make your preparation a little bit more acidic. It's gonna give an acid taste to your strudel. So you get to decide whether you want it with skin or without. Cut it in really tiny pieces. That's pretty much it. And here I have 600 grams of peach and sugar. I'm not going to give you specific measures for sugar and cinnamon because, guys, to be honest, that's up to you. But make sure you add sugar at least, because sugar is gonna help you when you cook it on a frying pan. Okay, on a frying pan, just put a bit of butter. That's going to help you cook the peach. Even though peach is going to get into the oven later, you want to cook it first, so it is a bit more tasty and sweet. Mix everything thoroughly with a spoon, and make sure to use a clean bowl. That's gonna really help you out at the moment of mixing everything. Add your raisins. Remember that raisins, you can either cook them or you just don't cook them. It's up to you. I like to cook them because, as I said, I like acidic flavors, and if you cook the raisins, it's gonna give a bit of a more acidic flavor to a preparation. Medium heat or even low heat, you wanna cook it for about 40 minutes, and make sure to mix everything. In my case, I used a frying pan that was a little bit too small, but even though it is small, it's gonna cook slowly, and I'm gonna make sure that I mix everything every 5 to 7 minutes, so everything is cooked thoroughly. The moment of truth has come, stretching the dough. As you see, it is really flexible thanks to the work we did previously. Just by holding it in the air, it stretches itself, to be honest. Once you feel like it is a bit too much to handle, put it on the table and slowly stretch it until it is as fine as a piece of paper. You really want to work on this part, because if the dough is not thin enough, then the preparation won't be as crunchy as we want it. So take your time and slowly stretch your dough. It needs to be as thin as a piece of paper. If your tablecloth has any kind of drawings on it, or is a color paper cloth, a good sign that the dough is really as thin as it should be is that you can see through it, and that you can see the drawings on the tablecloth through the dough. Really, guys, it really needs to be really thin. Make sure that you sprinkle a bit of flour on your tablecloth, as well as your hands and your arms, because you don't want any of the dough to stick to you or the tablecloth. Also, use a tablecloth, guys. You are going to need it, and you're going to see why in a few minutes. The tablecloth is really a necessity. Don't do it on a table without a tablecloth. I mean, I can't stress this enough, guys. Use a tablecloth. So now we're going to need breadcrumbs and also nutmeg, which we previously smashed with a hammer. This mix, we're going to use it on our dough to put our peach on top of it, because we don't want our peach to moisture or damp our dough, because that's gonna break it, and we don't want that. So we use this to protect our dough from the moisture on our peach. But before all of that, we need oil now, which we're going to add on top of our dough. because remember that on this preparation you want to have layers of dough and fat, in this case vegetable oil, which is the one we've used on all of the preparation. Just add a bit of it, and with your hands make sure to spread it all across your dough. Now we're going to add sugar and cinnamon all over our dough. This is gonna not only flavor it, but it's gonna make it a bit more crispy and crunchy. Now we're going to add peach. Remember to add it only on top of your breadcrumbs and your nutmeg. Now with a pair of scissors or a kitchen knife, you need to get rid of that outer ring, because that outer ring is not as thin as our dough, so we want to get rid of it. You can use it to make some cookies or to make some other preparation with sugar and cinnamon, and it is really tasty, crunchy, really good. So don't worry, you are not gonna miss on anything.